Hey YouTube, it's Shanna. If you watched the video before this, yesterday I was working on some circle paintings. This one I did not finish on camera, but here it is. I finished it. I had a couple minutes. Look at that metallic. I don't love the colors of this one actually, but I like the composition. So there's that. The other paintings I was working on yesterday, oh yeah, these. I determined I was done with this one. This one I'm kind of stuck because I'm just in love with what is there, although it's obviously not done, so I might go back to that today. Stick it up on the shelf. Oh boy. Okay. Now, I slept terribly last night, so I'm feeling like a little not great today, but I got myself to the art table, even though kind of I don't really want to, you know what I mean? I mean, do you have those days where you're just like, I don't want to paint, and well, sometimes it's okay to take a day off. I'm not trying to say that we should always push through those types of feelings, but my tea water is about to boil, so I'll have to go for a second. But there are times when I think it's worthwhile to push through whatever, resistance that you're feeling. So what I'm going to do to start right now is swatch some colors out of my watercolor palette. This is like, I took the lid off of this. This has a lid and it's like an airtight lid, but I just took the lid off, stuck it in here. But this palette is my Mission watercolor set, which used to be all the Mission paints, like the whole set was, in here. I ended up taking out quite a few colors that I didn't use and wasn't really fond of. And I want this to be my main palette, my only palette. Oh boy, I did not mean to slam that. But there's a lot of colors I have in this palette that I love and use a lot. And then I have these little half pans that I would like to use up, but I truly do not really like half pans. They're too small. And so that's where I'm at with my watercolor collection. Now, look, do you want to know the truth of the matter? Okay, let me show you. I have this, I believe it's US Art Supply 10 drawer thing. Look at this. I mean, I have so many watercolors and there's more, believe me. That's not even everything. So, oh, you know what I just realized? I want to get out an extra, I have a couple of titanium buff. Oh wait, there's nothing in that. Oh my gosh, the watercolor just like popped right out of the the pan. Okay. Anyway, what I want to do is put this in and have a titanium buff. So I'm going to have two. One will be to mix with cool colors and one will be to mix with warm colors. Because I'm always sort of wanting to mix that color, but it's a pain because I don't want to go into it with a dirty brush and muddy it all up. But last night, while I couldn't sleep, I believe, I just was like, oh my gosh, why don't I just have two? And then, okay, I'll be right back. My water's boiling. So what I'm gonna do is swatch these half pans and see if I can if I'm okay with taking any of them out. So I don't even know actually what all these colors really are, but like in this little well here, I have a color that is super similar to that one I just swatched. I mean, it's really close, so I might take that out because I don't actually usually reach for it very often. And then I have two more kind of light neutral colors. Okay, that one is definitely almost the same. Sometimes they look a little different once they dry, but, and then I have this one. So I don't need all of this in here, taking up space. Echo, stop timer. Oh, got to take my green tea bags out. So this is just too much of the same going on. So I know probably I can safely take out really probably all three of these. And then I also have, oh my gosh, I'm making a mess already. I'm just really trying to overall, not only in my art, but in my life, kind of simplify. I have this beautiful paper sitting here next to this madness and I don't want to get it dirty. So, all right, but I am going to stick in that, whatever it's called. I do have a yellow here that is, I'm going to just take it out because I know that, well, you know what I might do? Don't mind me while I think out loud, but this is just part of figuring things out. So this yellow is almost empty, and I think what I'm going to do is dump it into this yellow because it's pretty similar, and I'm always mixing this yellow with this, like, I don't even know what the name of the color is. This yellow is kind of like a lemon yellow, like a cooler yellow. I tend to like my yellows a bit warmer, so I'm always mixing it with this other like light beige color. This yellow actually is kind of muted down a little bit. Okay, yeah, so I don't know if I want to mix that though. I think I will because I am rarely using that color straight from the well there. Okay. There's two pinks in here. I believe these are actually Neocolor 2s that I cut. Oh, that is looking dirty. That water is looking pretty dirty that I just put into that pink. Sorry, pink. I don't really use these pinks a whole lot, but I kind of like to have them handy. I want to get all that water out of there because it's a little muddy. So I think that's Salmon Pink by, I think that's a Neocolor 2, which is water soluble. So I just chopped off the ends of the crayons and put them in a half pan. I don't think I would really do that again, but I will use it up. So again, these two pinks are pretty similar. I don't reach for them a whole lot, but I think I'll leave them in there because I want to just basically use them up. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this yellow is let that sit in there and then basically dump it into that well. It will probably take a few times of doing that to get it all out, but it's a good way to just consolidate colors. I love this green gold here. This is Daniel Smith green gold. It's my favorite green gold. I actually have, this is so ridiculous, but somehow I ended up with 2 wells of green gold in here. You can see that these two, I don't know what brands these are, but they're basically the same. I kind of like that Daniel Smith one. It's a little more green, where these ones are leaning a little more yellow and like a dirtier green gold. And eventually I'd like to put the Daniel Smith green gold in here, but I'm not there yet. I don't have an empty space for it. I think this next color is, yeah, this is a schminka color. Oh, I'm not going to dig out my thing to tell you what color, but it's like a granulating teal. I never use that color, so I think I'm just going to, maybe, I'll probably use it if I put it in one of these wells, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 wells that are basically empty in here, so again, I'm consolidating, I'm simplifying. I have way too many watercolors than I could ever use, and so I'm just gonna fill this with water and let it really just sit there for a while, and then I will transfer it into probably this well. And I will probably use it if it's in there, because I never use any of these colors in these half pans. I rarely do, I should say, because I just don't like them, they're too small. Okay, this is lilac, I believe. This is a Holbein color. Gorgeous, love it. I want to use it more. And then I have 2 more Holbein colors in here. Lavender. Oh my gosh, so pretty. I want to use it like right now. I want to paint with it. And then this is Verditer blue. Pronunciation, don't know, but I'm saying it the way I'm saying it. Okay. I don't know what this is. I think I know, but I'm not sure. This is from, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a color from a Josie Lewis set that I believe she discontinued. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that set, but it's, I mean, for actually a beginner, it would be great. It actually is really a nice set. For me, I just didn't need it. I already had too many watercolors, and I just don't know how I'll ever use it all up. So I'm not, it actually was nice paint. I really liked it. But that color was my favorite, so I kind of kept it in the mix. But I've got 2 like purples that are like very similar to that in here in the wells. So it's like, see that? It's so similar. I could add a little dark blue to that and get the same color. So I don't really, it's just redundant. I don't need that in my palette. And then I have this here, which is cobalt purple. I believe I have the, is that cobalt purple? I think it is, by Daniel Smith. And I'll tell you, the cobalt purple by Daniel Smith and the one by Winsor & Newton, they're very different. The one by Winsor & Newton is a lot lighter and it's like more granulating. The one by Daniel Smith is super dark and it's gorgeous, but when I bought that color, that's not really what I was trying to get because I had the Winsor & Newton one in the past. This color here, I don't actually know what this is. Oh, that's like a Payne's Gray, sort of, I don't know. Another problem is I don't like remember exactly what is in these. Some of them I know because I just know, but anyway. Okay. I'm deciding to take this out. And the other problem with these little half pans, when you buy them like in a set, they're so full. I couldn't possibly get this out and put it into here. Like it would just take forever. So for now, I'm just gonna put it in my little watercolor drawer and enjoy my more simplified watercolor situation. These Holbein ones, I have the tube, so I didn't fill them all the way, so those aren't as full. I have a couple other colors in here that I might just combine. And let's see what else we have. These colors, these like darkish red, deep red colors are from various Prima Marketing confection sets, which I no longer even have all of the colors from those sets. I sold them a while back, but I kept a few colors that I really loved. And the truth is, oh my gosh, I do love these colors. And I have tried to find similar colors in like higher quality brands like Daniel Smith, and I just have not had much luck. I've tried to match them up and buy the same color, and I end up coming home and I'm like, well, that's not really what I was going for, but the thing is, these paints, these premium marketing paints, again, really great for beginners if you want to buy those sets. If you're already established and you have a million colors, you probably don't need them. And like, I think there's probably a color from like one color from 4 different sets that I like. So if I ever run out of those, I mean, I'm not going to buy them again. I don't even know what sets they were in. So this is a beautiful color. Oh, look at that. I think that's like a quinacridone rose, maybe. I may have written it on there. Usually I'll write it. Quinacridone pink. What brand was that? Believe it was Daniel Smith. Okay, and then there's like a really dark color here. I don't know what this is. Oh, that looks like Moon Glow, which I actually think I have that in one of these wells, so I can definitely get rid of that. Yeah, that's Moon Glow. Moon Glow, Daniel Smith, another incredible color. This looks like Moon Glow here, but I don't know if it is. No, that's not Moon Glow. I don't know. I don't know what that is. What is this then? I swear, someday I'm going to be a little more... Oh, I don't know what that is either. Gosh, now I'm really confused because the one that's in here, actually, I don't think that's Moon Glow. I don't know what that is. And then there's one more color that I want to swatch here. Here it is. It's nice and juicy. Okay, that's just like another deep, almost black. Not black, but really dark blue. I think this is actually from another set. Oh, no, that's Sennelier. Okay, that's from a Sennelier set. I just have colors like that already in here, so I don't need that, okay? I don't need that to be out. I would like to eventually use it up, but look at these beautiful colors. See, I'm so inspired by this. It's just, they're just so gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. I wish I knew what to do about my palette situation, but I think I just have to like accept it for what it is right now. And slowly, as I use up colors, which is very slow, I will eventually use up these colors. I'm putting these away. And if I want one of these, I can always pull out this drawer and grab them. I'm gonna be a little crazy too and bring this extra, I don't know how I ended up with 3, but I filled 3 things with titanium buff. So one will be like super pure, I'm not gonna mix the colors. One will be to mix warm colors, one will be to mix cool colors. So I can get these dirty and not feel like precious about it. Okay, so that's enough of that. I think I could keep going with this, but okay, get that drawer back in there. And this book I've showed before, but it's Canson XL mixed media paper, which I really love. I like it so much more than their watercolor paper. Truthfully, I hate their watercolor paper. It's really, it just dulls the colors out so much. I just really don't like the way the paint sits on that paper. So I do not use it anymore, but for some reason, this mixed media paper, even though it's thinner and it will buckle more and would not be good for like a final painting, I don't mind playing on it and swatching colors. Okay, today I'm going to show you how I paint my, I'm gonna get my tape. I'm going to paint one of my abstracts, which I kind of like to think of as like clouds, starry, cloudy, moon, skies. This is what we're going to paint. Now this is a 12 by 12. I'm going to paint on an 8 by 8, and I am going to tape the edges. I like that look. I have a tendency always in every painting I do to go to the very edge of the paper, no matter what I'm painting. I don't know why, but it's like if it's there, I have to use it all. So I've tried to get in the habit of taping off my edges, not only because I like the look of that, where it has that little border, but because of my paint to the edge method. It's just, yeah, it ends up looking a lot better. Now, the thing is about the painting I'm going to do here is that this is a style I developed over much time and practice, and it's very easy for me to paint these. I mean, they're not like difficult paintings, they're just blobs of color, if you want to call them that, which sometimes when I look at them, I think that, I'm like, dude, those are just blobs of color. Like, what are you doing? But most of the time when I look at them, I just feel this, like, I feel them. I feel these paintings. They are truly my style, and they make me happy, and I enjoy painting them. I like the process of it. And isn't that what a lot of us are trying to achieve in painting, is finding a style that resonates with ourselves? I mean, it took me a long time to get to this point. So I highly recommend giving yourself the time to get to this point, the practice, wherever you, I mean, everyone's different, right? Like, not everyone likes to paint abstract blobs of color. You know, some people want to do, well, obviously there's a million things you can paint, but yeah, I guess my point is that I'm losing my point because now I'm trying to get into painting and it's hard to talk and paint at the same time. Okay, so that's like really bright. So I can dip my brush real quick down into the water, go back into this lighter yellow. This is like super pale yellow color. I think it might be a gold. Oh no, now I have the hiccups. Okay. Yeah, that's happening. Anyway, I think this is a gouache. I think it's called Jayun Brilliant. I'm sorry. This is really, I'm gonna have to hold my breath to get these to go away. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I am just continuing. Obviously, you saw me wet the whole paper, really, really wet, after I taped it off. And now I'm just dropping in color, and then I'm lifting it out in places. You know, I just want this to be like a nice, soft background. Also keeping in mind that the color will fade a bit when it dries. So, I wonder what'll happen if I just... Because this page is so wet. I don't usually do this. Oh, that's nice. That's doing some fun stuff. I'm using a muted down yellow and my favorite color, well, if I had to pick one, I guess it would be this quinacridone red light by Schminke. I just, this color makes me happy. It's amazing. And I'm almost out of it. Well, that's not true. I have all my watercolor tubes. I have a whole tube of it, so I need a refill. And you can kind of mix this color with, I have the Vermilion, I believe it's called, by the Mission paints. And if you add a little bit of opera pink to it, it makes basically a similar color, but the quinacridone red light on its own is just perfection. It's unbelievable. I just love it so much. Yeah, okay. Putting in a little more pigment in some areas. When this dries, it's kind of gonna just blend together and it'll look really nice. I'm just smoothing out some of the little tendrils that are forming with how the paint is bleeding. And I'm going to paint all over this, so it doesn't really matter like so much what it looks like, because it's just a background. All right, I'm going to let that dry. I'm gonna take a little break, drink my tea, and I'll be back to continue this painting with you. Well, my tea is still too hot to drink. Just went upstairs to get my box of tubes of watercolor paint, and I also grabbed my Kuretake, what is this, 48, I think, set of paints, and maybe I'll play with these at some point. I really would just like to use them up because I would not buy these again. They're good, they're okay, they're just not my favorite. However, I know I've been using this other set a lot lately and talking about it, but the Art Nouveau set, I just love these because they are really unique convenience colors that they just all go so well together, and it takes out an element of thinking when you're painting. So I really like these. However, I don't like, I don't think they play well with others because they are more on the opaque side. You can get them to look pretty transparent when you're painting if you water them down enough, but that opacity does have a tendency to create mud if you mix it with other colors, I guess. So anyway, that's that. But I love those paints, and I would absolutely buy them again if and when I run out of certain colors. Actually, those, I don't know if you can get them open stock. I know you can get a lot of the Kuretake colors open stock, but I'm not sure about the Art Nouveau colors. But ideally, I would just buy them open stock. And I think there's a place in the United States, a website that sells them like that. Okay, this is my favorite color that I was telling you. Quinacridone Red Light by Schminke. So I'm gonna pull that out and refill. Well, let me just do it. I'll just refill my little, I would like to move this color over here, but I don't have space for it yet. So I'm just gonna squeeze like a ton of that paint in here because I use it all the time. The other color that I need to refill is maybe my even more favorite color, but is Dusk Pink by Van Gogh. This is such an incredible color. The granulation is, I'm not even that much of a big fan of granulating paints per se, but this one, yeah, this one is, I can't live without this color. I know of no other color by any brand that is at all like this color. And the bonus is it's not even expensive. It's super cheap. Oh gosh, there's so many paints in here. It's really embarrassing to show you this. But it is what it is. So I think for now, that's all I needed to refill. Oh, here's the color, the one color I swatched. Let me show you. This one, let's see if I can zoom in a bit on this. It really is a nice color. It's dry now. Ooh. So it's granulating and it's called Deep Sea Green by Schminke. The thing I don't love about this color is it's hard to get a really dark value out of it. Like when you activate it, it just, sometimes I like to get like the darkest value of a color I possibly can. I'm going back into it, but it's really watery since I'm trying to move it to that other well, so I can't even really show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's too wet. There's too much water in it. So anyway, if it was just like a little bit of water, I would show you that even the most pigmented amount of it on your brush with very little water, it just isn't dark enough. So I tend to just use that when I'm looking for basically a teal color. Anyway, yeah. So the other thing is over here, this is the color I thought was Moonglow, but you know what? It's not Moonglow, and I don't know what that is, but I will have to figure that out. It is really gorgeous. It's definitely granulating. It's got like a, I don't even know how to describe it really, but I don't know where my Moonglow is. See, I am not that organized when it comes to my colors. Well, probably part of the problem is I have too many colors, but this is another pretty one, Ultramarine Pink by M. Graham. I really like this one. And that's the quinacridone pink I was talking about, the Daniel Smith quinacridone pink. That's a good one. Oh, here we go. I'm finding everything. Oh no, this is not what I thought. I was going to say that like lighter yellow. It's not this Naples yellow. That's not what it is. Let me find it. Oh, here it is. Oh, okay. Mystery solved. Here's what it is. It's not gouache. It's watercolor. It's Naples yellow. I don't know what I said, but it's a Schminke color. I also like this Naples yellow reddish. That's the difference. Although I have to say I don't use that one as much. So yeah. And then the other thing I wanted to, because I know I have, it's like a gouache color. Oh, here it is. Oh, okay. Jayun Brilliant. Holbein. I think I have this. This is actually the watercolor, but anyway, I think I have it in gouache by maybe Holbein. It's basically the same thing. It's not, yeah. Oh, where are you? It's hiding in the madness. Oh my gosh, here it is. I'm not crazy, I'm telling you. Gouache, Jayun Brilliant, #1. It's the same, I mean, it's basically the same color as that other one. Of course, now I lost it, but I use this like watercolor. To me, it's, I don't use it as gouache in any way, shape, or form like you're supposed to. I don't really like gouache, so when I use it like watercolor, it's, to me, it's watercolor. It's not, and I lost that other one. I was gonna look and see if, I'm sure the pigment is the same. I imagine this gouache probably has white added. Oh, that's all in Japanese. Oh yeah, PW6. This has white added. I don't know that the other one does. It's so little and I totally just lost it. hunting through to see Jayun Brilliant. Okay, well, I don't even know why this matters. It doesn't matter. Okay, the other thing I wanted to point out was I also have this color by My Mary Blue Quinacridone Rose, or no, Quinacridone Red, which is very similar to the other one I showed you, the Quinacridone Red Light by Schminke. These colors are very, very similar. However, the My Mary Blue likes to travel. Like if you've ever used QOR paints, they like to travel, and I don't love that about them always. So I tend not to use this one, but I'm trying to look and see if it's the same pigment because they're so similar. Huh, where are you? I'm probably looking right at it and not seeing it. Okay, dum-dum. Can't even find the pigment on here. Well, yeah. My Mary Blue paints are gorgeous, but when you hit wet on wet with them, they just go places. They go everywhere. It's really intense. And for me, I'm not a fan of that. I like it when they travel a little bit. See, I can't even close this box now. Oh my gosh. There we go. No, it's gonna break. I'm gonna break it. Okay, it's like absolutely ridiculous that I have so much watercolor, but you know, sometimes you just get excited about things and buy them all, and then later come to regret it a little bit, only because I can't possibly ever use all that up, right? It's gonna take like the rest of my life. Okay, this is not dry yet, so we're not ready. Oh, okay, it's almost there. Let me just hit it with my little hot air dude. Thank you for putting up with me for doing that. The thing I love about having this process, this painting process that I have, is that I can just do this without thinking too hard. Like, I don't have to be like, what am I gonna paint today? And then sit down and, well, what paper am I gonna use? What colors? What this, what that? You know, it just gets a little overwhelming. Because that's kind of what I have done for a long time in my painting. I kind of stress about it a little more than I would like to. And really leaning into these paintings is helping me to get over that and to be able to sit down and paint without putting so much pressure on myself. I mean, at this point, I'm not like selling my paintings, and maybe someday I will do that. I just ultimately right now, I just don't feel like I have the time to do it. I don't want to put the time into that. Really, I just want to put the time I do have into painting. And I've thought a lot about this. I've done a lot of research of, you know, what people do when they do sell their work. And at this point, it's just not for me. I don't want to be on social media. It's not good for my mental health. I've found over many trials and errors with going back and forth on Instagram and posting my stuff. And I mean, that's a whole nother topic, but it's just, I would say it's just not for me. I'm not going to devote that kind of time to social media. I don't even know if it's worth it. I know that some people have found success on there in terms of like selling their work, etc. But I think Instagram has changed a whole lot and it's not really what it used to be for someone like me who has no following and goes into it trying to build something. I think it's a lot harder than it used to be and requires a lot more time, time spent on that app. So the reason I'm doing YouTube is just to kind of hang out with people that enjoy art and have a little bit of a community around it, because that is what I'm interested in at this point. And we'll see what happens. I've not been terribly consistent in the past with it, but hopefully I can manage that this time. So I do a lot of layers on these types of paintings, and I do need to let them dry in between. So I will let it dry and then come back and finish it with you. See how beautiful this is? It's not really going anywhere when I'm doing that. All right, I'll be back. I thought maybe I would show you how I transfer these half pans into the wells. It's a bit messy, but so I'll take a very small palette knife and kind of mix up the color that's in there and trying to dig down to the bottom. Like I can feel that some of this is still really hard in there. You can also just do this with a paintbrush. Oh my gosh, it's dripping down my finger. Okay, I'm gonna dump this in here. I think what I had in here was Aqua Green by Winsor & Newton, which is really a great color, but I'm just gonna try to use this up before I add more of that Aqua Green. Yeah, this needs like a lot of time with water in it to get soft enough to dig it out. It actually sometimes can take a couple days to do this because you're going to end up with like so much water and it just has to dry out for a couple days before you can, like this might fill up with water before I get all of this out if I'm impatient like I'm being right now with it. So if I let this sit for a couple hours, I might be able to get it all out. I'm going to put it over here since it's making a huge mess. Oh, you can't see what I was doing. I just put it over in my other palette over here. So that's probably enough of that. And I try to do this without wasting paint, especially since I'm just being fussy and moving colors around. I don't want to like waste paint to do that. I dropped some red in this one, so I'm just cleaning that out. Okay, here's a color I never use. It's, oh, I don't know. I don't remember the name, but it's a really beautiful orange. I just never use it, so I don't know what to do about that. But oh, yeah. I'm trying to clear out, maybe I'll clear this well out. This one was pretty much empty. I'm trying to put maybe the lavender in there or the lilac, but those colors are a bit lighter than what was in here, so I don't want it to like get dirty. So I'm just pulling some of that out. It's probably not really ready for me to transfer it. It's not, it's still pretty hard. Yeah. So maybe I'm not showing you what I was going to, but I think you get the idea. Probably what I should do is just get a new palette and like start over, but you know, I don't want to buy anything else when I already have what I need. It's just a matter of like moving things around and making things better. Like here's these two wells have some dark blue in them. I can definitely move those into like this well. Yeah. I don't know if this is interesting at all, but that's how my little crazy brain is working. Let's see. I think this is good. I think we can do some more layers on this painting. I think at this point I'll go in with my dusk pink. I'm going to zoom in on this part just to give you a different angle. I'm holding the brush at the very end, see? I've learned to do that so that I'm staying loose when I'm painting. I'm just going in with a darker value when these are still wet so that when I touch them, it bleeds into them a bit. I think I'll go in with that coral color, quinacridone red light, and go more pigmented with it. And also let that touch some of the dusk pink that I just did. I'm not crazy about the way this purple looks right now, but when it dries, it will look a lot different. So I try not to get too worried about it at this point. Just lifting some of that. There's like a puddle there. I don't want that because it'll just take too long to dry. Okay, I think this is asking for me to go back to the yellow. That's what I feel like. That's what it's telling me. When yellow and purple mix, it's really gorgeous, especially this dusk pink. You just have to be careful not to really mix it too much. Like, just put it down, let it touch, and leave it alone because it will get muddy. Let me show you on here. Okay, I'm gonna zoom back out. So just to show you what I mean, I'm gonna put down this dusk pink here. And then, okay, I'll do it twice. I'm gonna show you the difference. Now this is different paper, so it will act a little differently when I do this. But anyway, grab some yellow. So like, this is what I would not do. Go in, have my little yellow next to the pink. This is what I would do. Let it touch. But if I sit there and scrub it to death, it just turns into mud, which that's kind of a nice neutral color, but look at this. Look how vibrant that still is because I didn't mix it up. Let's just mix up the whole thing and see what happens. I mean, it's not a bad color. It's just, I don't want that on this painting, so. And this is what I would do. Grab the yellow. I know I'm doing it a little different. I'm doing it down below just because most of the pigment is hanging out down here. So like, I just barely touched it and I'm just letting it mix on its own. Again, this paper is not, it's different paper, but it's still doing basically the same thing. And I'm gonna zoom in on this so you can see. So because this paper is not as, well, it's not cotton paper, first of all, but so it's traveling a lot more because it's more wet, it's more bumpy because it's warped. I painted on the other side, but my other paper is staying pretty flat because it's 100% cotton and it's like really nice paper. Anyway, but you can still see the difference. I mean, this I mixed together, which is great if you want a neutral color, but if you want just a beautiful bleed and you want to maintain that vibrancy of each color, really, like I can see the vibrancy of the dusk pink coming down into the yellow, and I can see the vibrancy of the yellow where it's sort of next to the dusk pink. So that is that. I'm not really sure. I always feel this way. I'm like, I don't really know about this painting right now, but it will come together. So I'm going to let this dry again, probably come back with one more layer of that dusk pink, really super saturated, dark value, and then I'll put my moon in, then I'll do some marks with pencil, so stay tuned for that. It is dry now, and I was just thinking about how this paper, this Fluid 100 watercolor paper, 100% cotton, sorry if I didn't mention what it was before, but anyway, this paper flattens out so nicely after you paint on it. I feel like Arches paper, the same paper weight, 140 pounds, it stays like warped. And yes, you can flatten the paper, that's definitely an option, but I'm just saying without doing that, this paper just handles water so beautifully. It's Fluid 100 cold press, 140 pound paper. As promised, I'm going in to grab, can you see kind of what I'm doing on the side here? it's mostly dusk pink, but I'm just trying to use up the last little tidbits of these other two colors, which are similar, but not the same. So I'm just mixing those into that. And okay, that's good. See how dark it is? It's probably not even dark enough. The problem is I just squeezed out from the tube into here, so it's like harder to get that super dark value. And I got it wet on top of that, so let's see how this looks. Yeah, that's pretty good. So these darker values are just going to really add to the drama of this painting and the contrast. Now I'm going to dip my brush really quick in the water to lighten up the value and do a couple more areas. Okay. You never know. You just never know what's going to happen. Sometimes I'll throw in some like green gold into these, but I feel like for me, I love them more when I just stick with these colors. I just love these colors together, and that's that. I have no more to say about it. I love them. I just, this is my favorite color palette. I really love it. And sometimes I've thought about adding like a Prussian blue, and I have done it, but I didn't like it as much. So maybe I'll go back there and revisit that idea at some point. But for now, this is what I love. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, my cat. What? Look at this. Okay. Look at this lunatic. He lays like that all the time. How ridiculous. What a nerd. Okay. Yeah, never mind. I'm not. I think what I'm going to do is take this off of this block just because I'm waiting for it to dry. Just using my palette knife to do it. You do have to be careful. You want to really put the pressure outward like this direction, not straight down, because I think you're more likely to have a problem if you, I've had papers rip, and believe me, that is really disappointing when it happens, especially on a nice paper. I don't even really like these blocks that much because I don't really want to fuss with this, and the paper still buckles anyway, so I kind of don't really see the point of them. I mean, I do get it, but I could do without the block, personally. Okay. Now I just need this to dry again, but I think looking at it, I'm not going to blow dry it this time. I'm just going to let it sit, and maybe I will, instead of stopping the video again, I've been thinking about trying something, and oh, okay. I'm going to show you a painting. The funny thing about this painting is it's this almost the same color palette that I was just working with a few exceptions, but okay, I painted this quite a while ago and I adore this painting. I don't know. To me, this painting is just magical. And I cannot tell you how many times I've tried to paint it again unsuccessfully. And I'm determined to figure out how I did this and repaint it. And it's actually, I haven't been painting florals lately, so I'm kind of tempted to go back and give this a try for fun. And maybe I should just record myself doing it. And you know what? If it turns out bad, that is okay, because it just doesn't matter. All right, I'm gonna figure out what paper I want to use. Let's see. Should I go big or 9 by 12 or the big one? Okay, it's your lucky day. I'm gonna go big. So this is one of my favorite papers. I do love that Fluid 100, but this is probably as good. And this paper is not cheap, but it is reasonably priced in my opinion for the size you get. And it's Michael's in-house brand, Artist Loft. It's the level 3 professional level, 100% cotton. This is beautiful paper, and I believe that is what I used on that other painting that on the painting I just showed you. My block actually came loose from the, you know, cover, so I'm just gonna take it out. It's a bit marked up actually. No, it's not too bad. There's like one little spot over here. Not that that matters. I mean, it happens, you know, you can always, let's try with the eraser and see if that fixes it. Yeah, it did. It took it off. But if your paper has a smudge, it's okay. Likely, any single piece of paper isn't going to be like your life's masterpiece. So if it has a smudge, just paint on it. You can always, there are ways to deal with smudges. If it becomes your life's masterpiece, like, well, that other painting I kind of consider to be one of my masterpieces. And I have tried to repaint that probably at least 10 times, maybe more. And it just never turns out quite the same. I don't know what it is about that one, but we're going to try. We're going to try. And you know, I am going to give myself a little, I'm going to use my lightest pencil, which is, no, that's not it. Oh my gosh, I'm ridiculous. Okay, 6H. This, I think maybe you can go even lighter than this with a pencil, but the reason I want to do this is because I really do kind of want to, like, recreate what I did, if I can. And when I, like, for example, when I go to put the vase in, I don't want to be like thinking too hard about exactly the shape. So that's basically the shape. As far as the flowers go, we'll just leave that to random happenstance. And I don't necessarily think I'm going to finish this right now in one go, but I was, again, last night when I couldn't sleep, I was thinking about florals, and I was thinking about this painting, and I thought, oh man, you've got to try painting this again. Okay, you can't see it, but I am dipping into that buff titanium because I want to, I probably got too much of it, but I kind of want to just mute down the yellow a little. What's going to happen? I'm just swatching this over on my swatchy sheet over here. Okay. Super loose. Don't want to be precious. Oh, here's a way not to be precious. Get your brush loaded with water and do some sprays, some splatters all over the place. They'll probably mostly disappear, but it's like, you're telling that paper who's the boss. You know what I mean? Like, you are not the boss of me. I am the boss here. I'm not going to feel precious about it. I might feel ridiculous for acting ridiculous, but yeah. Oh, I like this. I like it. All right. I'm going into my dirtiest water, which is getting pretty dirty. And I'm gonna use actually that water to do something here, to do like a flower up here. Again, look at where I'm holding the brush, way at the end. I'm not gripping it like a pencil. I'm loosely, well, really I'm holding it like this actually. Anyway, yeah, that's what I'm doing with that. So I do want, it's been a while since I used any like of my green gold because I haven't been painting anything that called for it, but I'm gonna go ahead and toss it in the middle here a little bit of these flowers. I want it to bleed. I want this to be really messy. I don't want to be tight. Okay, another yellow. Let's do. I am trying to touch the edges of like any flower that's nearby because I want those bleeds to happen. And I'm gonna go into my dusk pink-ish color. And while this is still wet, I want to see if I can get this to bleed a little. Yes, okay. I want to do that again. Nice. All right, more dusk pink. See, like, I don't know if you are seeing, but like when I press down and lift up, like sometimes like paint is splattering. I like that. I'm okay with that. Because it's really, my goal is for this to be a loose painting, so I'm not like, look how that green is traveling. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. It looks so cool. Oh, I love that. Okay, and let's go back into, I'm gonna have to change one of my waters. I have 3 waters, see? Oh, I can't zoom out anymore. See those 3 waters? So I try to keep one super clean and then have like the dirtiest and then the middle one. Because sometimes that dirty water can be fun to use. Like I'm just using like this middle dirty water over here, and then I'll come in maybe with a smaller brush and dip some color, drop some color into it, like that water I just put down. See what happens. Let it be. Let it be alone. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna try something now that I did that. I'm gonna like mix it, let it mix a little bit more. Ooh, look at that. Whoa. Okay. See, that's the kind of thing that will look so cool when it's dry. The other, well, let me just do one thing at a time. Let me finish the big flowers and then I'll show you the other things I did when I painted this the first time. I don't know if this is the best brush, but it's the brush I'm using, so. The thing that I struggle with, you know, with this type of painting is I do want to eventually have like some darker values in there. And it's just harder to do with just one, like I think, well, not, oh my gosh. See, this is how my brain works. I can't always be so eloquent, but I'm going to have to go in with further layers. And for some reason, that's the part I struggle with the florals, is going in with further layers and not having it look weird. So, but sometimes the first layer is so gorgeous, but you just end up like without, you don't end up with enough variations of value. Okay, so see how these pink splashes are here? I'm just going right into those with this yellow flower. Oh yes, look how that's bleeding. I wasn't even trying to do that. And we're just gonna put some like random marks around. I'm trying to leave a little room for the next things that I want to do. Okay, we're gonna play with this Lilac by Holbein. So this is super random. Like, I'm not trying to be, I'm gonna dip into the lavender also. Oh my. I am looking at my other painting as I do this, just because then I don't have to feel stressed about anything. I'm just kind of using that as a guide. So I do want to go in to the middle of these flowers. I'm just gonna grab like a really dark blue. And tap a little into here. It's still wet, so it's bleeding, that's okay. Let me see. You have to realize right now that there's still so much yet to come on this painting. So, you know, actually I really like it so far, but I know that I am okay with what it looks like right now. I know it's not finished. I can relax and realize that it's only going to get better. Okay. I mean, this is a big old sheet of 100% cotton paper, so it can be intimidating to work on this kind of painting. I mean, yes, especially since I've done this so many times and been very unsatisfied with the results. But actually, I kind of feel like this is going, I feel like this is going well. All right, so I do want to put in some Prussian blue-ish leaves. Now, the other thought that I have about the original painting is that, I mean, I love that painting, but it is lacking in like value. There's not a lot of value differentiation in that painting, but you know what? I don't care because I just love, do I want to use this brush? Yes, okay. This is why I always keep this notebook next to me, because I was just like, do I really want to use this brush for these leaves? And yeah, look, they're fine. I can just pop them down right there. Oh, look how this dried. My muddy and non-muddy mixing. See that? Isn't that cool? Love that. Anyway, you know, I can be critical of that painting and say, oh, well, you didn't get like a lot of like different values in there. And that's true, but I still love it nonetheless. So with my leaves, I'm not going to do really stems with the leaves because I am going to go back with either colored pencil or, excuse me, I'm using a different brush to lift some color out because this brush is pretty loaded up with pigment and I don't want to like rinse it out and waste the paint. Oh man, I really like this so far. Yes. So my challenge for myself this time around is get the values a little more dynamic. And that, ooh, oops. Yeah, that just happened. I'm dripping paint everywhere. Okay. Trying to talk and paint and it's getting crazy. Okay. Let's do some more of this lilac. Just really loose. Actually, yeah. Okay. So far, so good. I think I'm going to deepen some of the value in the larger flowers right now. And again, this is the part I tend to struggle with because it ends up, well, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you just can't think too hard about what you're doing, and it's very, for lack of a better word, intuitive at this point. Like, I'm all over the place right now because I'm just really in to what I'm doing, and sometimes you have to be okay working quickly because the paint is drying and maybe there's some magic that can happen if you let things mix when they're wet, when they're still wet. I think I'm lifting some of this coral out because. still wet. See, that's really, I'm just looking for like little black-ish dots in the centers, so I'm not really wanting that to bleed too much, but that one was still kind of wet. Maybe a little too wet. Oh. Yeah, I can tell what's happening is this is turning out much like the ones that I've gotten very frustrated with. There's something about the colors. I don't know. We might be able to pull it. We might be able to make this work. Let's go in with a indigo slash, I think what I'm gonna try here is I'm gonna get my vase nice and wet. I'm just gonna drop the color in. Let's use some of that dirty water. All right, let's see what happens here. Well, I would say that is absolutely a disaster. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not giving up. That is not looking so good. Oh my gosh. It's okay. It's okay to fail. Even if you just feel like you're failing in the moment, there's a chance, you know, you can pull it together. I've done it many times. It could be that another layer will save this one after it's dry. Let's see how it bled into my flower. That's okay. Really, it's all okay. Yeah. Feel like I don't know. Like I need to take a break from this. Maybe come back a little bit later. See. I'm not sure what it is that's bothering me about this, but yeah. Sometimes you just can't recreate a certain magic that happens in a painting that you love. Time to take a break. Okay, I turned the camera off for a minute, tried to collect myself, and I went over the vase one more time with just a darker layer of color. I'm pretty dissatisfied with this painting, but I'm gonna keep going because I might as well finish it, and it's okay not to like something. You don't have to feel like a failure. And part of me is like, oh my gosh, I should just delete this video right now. I don't want to post this. I think it's so funny how, as I was saying earlier, way earlier at this point, about these paintings, is that I have a process. Like, I know what works with these and I love it and it's easy and it's like a meditation. But sometimes when I paint, it's not like that. And this is a good example of that. So anyway, next up is going to be some mark making, and we'll see what happens. I mean, it could. It could turn into something that I am okay with, but I don't think I'm going to be in love with this one. That's just my gut feeling about this. Let me grab my Neocolor 2s. These will give me a bit of a thicker line, and I have more colors in these that might work. Okay. I'm just winging it, okay? I'm just winging it. I might laugh at myself for really thinking I ruined this painting. Once I finish it, I might be like, oh, okay, nerd, it's not that bad. I like it even better now that I'm putting these marks in. It feels better to me. This is a really bright yellow. I don't know if I want to use this, but I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm always twisting as I'm coloring, or whatever you want to call what I'm doing. Always twisting my colored pencils and I'm just adding some light scratches of yellow around because I feel like could benefit from that. So there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just scribbles. Okay, taking a deep breath. It's not horrible. All right, let's see. Let's use my, what is this? I think it's Sky Blue Neocolor 2. The wrapper's like ripped off. Ooh, I don't know. This Periwinkle is also nice. What do we think? This one, Periwinkle. Yeah, it's better than I thought originally, but there's something that's not sitting right with me about this. The colors, that's what my issue is. Something about the colors. Yeah, there's that. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I can put my finger on it or not, but I am going to add metallics to the vase for sure. I kind of want to go back over the dusk pink areas, the flowers, and add some darker values. And since I already feel like this is not quite something, not quite what I was going for, maybe is the best way to describe it. I am just like, why not try something that you want to try, because you can't make it worse, right? Well, probably I could. Time is flying today, man. When I started, I was like, I don't really want to paint, and then I've kept myself here for this long, so that feels good. This one with the one layer, the granulation of this flower is so unbelievably pretty that I don't think I'm gonna go over that. Can you see it? I don't know how well it really is nice. I think I like it a lot, and I don't want to mess with it. I am going to get even more pigment on my brush over here and add a little extra dark. Add some more darks over here. I feel like I need to balance that out a bit. All right, I'm gonna do a little bit over here, but I really don't want to cover up much, if any, of this gorgeous granulation over here. After I put that dark pigment down, I'm just going in with like a damp brush that's not dripping wet, but I'm just getting it wet, and then I'm tapping off the water so it's damp and just softening the edges. Okay. Splashing dirty water. The vase, to me, is maybe the part where this went, I don't want to say wrong, but yeah, kind of wrong. But we can have a vase that's not perfect, I think. Now I'm going to activate my gold and splash some gold around, especially while some of the painting is still wet, because if this gold hits a wet spot, it'll, whoa. Maybe that was a little much, but I can fix that. Look. I'm just taking a damp brush and dabbing it over what I just did, because there's just a lot of splatters in that area and it's a bit much. So it'll just kind of spread out the gold. Okay. Also, when you splatter gold or metallics, any metallics, they do look quite a bit different when they dry, so it's often worth having the patience to let it dry. I just want to recreate that other painting so bad. I'll show you them side by side, and I don't know, maybe they'll look about the same, but there's just a magic I'm going for that this is pretty close. This was the closest I've gotten. I'm gonna blow dry this vase and then finish this up. I think I'll just use this the same gold, just like a regular gold on this vase. And oh, now that I'm saying that, because this vase is pretty dark and terrible. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna use acrylic paint on this because if I use watercolor gold, it's just gonna get muddy, I think. It's yeah, okay. Oh my gosh, that's not even the right thing of paint because that one's brand new and that's not open. Where is my open one? Here you are. Look guys, this painting still has a chance. Oh, paint everywhere. All right. My paper also really buckled a lot. I guess I put a lot of water on that, like, this is really wonky and I kind of like that. I kind of think I like the imperfect nature of it. So I think I'll leave it like that. But the other thing I want to do is grab a smaller brush. And do something else to it. Like, the paint is just coming out of this. Oh my gosh. It's a hot mess. Wow, look, see how that paint came out of there? Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so I think I'm going to make some circles. I think I'm okay with them being wacky looking. Perfectly imperfect. Yeah. I don't want to fuss with them too much. And then I'm going to, I don't really, bear with me. I'm thinking. Okay, I'm going to kind of use this paint that's splattered out. I'm going to water it down a bit so I can splatter it. I'm just doing it on my little scrap paper over here. I don't want to get this on my clothes. Okay, that's cool. Boop, boop. Did that a couple of more places. So that gold, I think, may have saved this vase. Okay. I really like the flowers. I don't know why I'm being so crazy. It's going to be really hard to get these both in the shot together, but oh, there we go. I can do it. So there they are. I just love that. Well, this vase is magical to me. I just love that. But so the vase really is just not what I was going for. But I think the flowers, I got pretty close. Still love this one so much more. But I know they basically almost look the same. But when I'm looking at this in person, there's a magic here that's happening. That here, there's something jarring about the colors in the flowers. I don't know how to explain it, but maybe it doesn't look like on camera so different, but I think I need to try this with a totally different color palette because I've tried that same color palette and this keeps happening. I've done this, like I said, many times where something just isn't right with the colors. So anyway, that was fun. I do think it's okay. I don't know if I'm madly in love with it, but okay. That's a lot of video, and we started out with, I think, this, which I haven't finished, but I don't have time to do it now. So check back in with my next video and I'll finish this on camera. I will make myself wait to do it. And thank you for hanging out with me today. Bye.